a horse in the ocean and try to make it stay there and swim for the rest of its life. So each animal in the animal kingdom, they're designed with a particular role, particular function. So we are the same way. I don't think a bird was ever created to be caged. And I think that's why somebody wrote the poem or the play, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. I do too. He wanted to get out of there. The bird was designed to fly, designed to be free. And so each of us, some of us are living in cages because we have never really tapped into our career purpose, our work purpose, our life purpose here on earth to do really what we were designed to do. There's a particular scripture, you don't have to turn there, but in Proverbs chapter 27, verse 19 in the New Living Translation, it says, as a face is reflected in water, so the heart reflects the person. And this is a powerful key here in understanding our life purpose, our career purpose, and our work purpose. As a face is reflected in water, so the heart reflects the person. In other words, there's something inside of us, in our hearts, that speak loudly to our deepest thoughts and feelings. There's something on the inside of us that sets our souls on fire when we hit the right spot. And that desire on the inside of us, that desire, your heart, notice what the verse says, as a face is reflected in water, so the heart reflects the person. Your innermost inside being, your heart, in other words, your passion, will tell you. Your passion will tell you why you're here. Your passion will tell you your life's work. Your passion will tell you what your career should be. Your passion will tell you what your purpose is. Jeremiah said, he said, man, this thing is like a fire shut up in my bone. See, something was burning on the inside of him. That was his passion. And so that's what the Bible says. Your heart will reflect the person, just like water will reflect the reflection of your face. Your heart shows you who you are. Your heart shows you why you're designed the way you are and what you're supposed to be doing in the earth. It shows you your life purpose. Find out what your passion is. Find out what your passion is. Turn to your neighbor and say, find out what your passion is. You got to find out what your passion is. Find out what your passion is. Most people hate their jobs because they're not working in their passion. And that's a hard, grueling existence when you got to do something you hate to do. No, find out what your passion is. Find out. See, that's your heart trying to let you know who you are. And so if you hate it, if you hate going in, that's your heart saying, this is not who you are. Your heart is trying to say, that's why you hate your job so much. That's not who you are. You're not doing how God engineered you and he designed you and he didn't create you for this. And that's why you feel like a fish out of water. You got to find your passion. You got to find your passion. I like something that Whit Hobbs said. He says, success is waking up in the morning, whoever you are, wherever you are, however young or old, and bounding out of bed because there's something out there that you love to do, that you believe in, that you're good at, something that's bigger than you are. And you can hardly wait to get at it again today. Isn't that good? That's the way we ought to be. So happy when you wake up in the morning when you can't wait to get to work because you found your purpose. You're living in what God has designed you to do. And you're fulfilled, and your fulfillment and your happiness and your joy comes when you're doing your passion. John Maxwell said this. He said, find your passion and follow it. That is all the career advice you will ever need. Find your passion and follow it. Find your passion and Follow it. Let me ask you some questions. What makes you come alive? What makes you come alive on the inside? What do you enjoy? What do you enjoy doing so much that it seems like the hours go by like minutes, and you look up and you wonder where the time is going? What is it you're doing where you're loving life so much and the time is going by? Like, find out what you enjoy. What makes you come alive? I remember reading a story by a gentleman by the name of Robert Lopperton. And he said, as a child, he always wanted to be a doctor. But he said as he got older and got in school, he let his dream go, and he ended up working in his family's business. They had a women's clothing business. And he said he worked there for 27 years, and he said finally his father decided to sell the business, and they sold it. And he said that he was 51 years old at this point, and he said he could have retired. But he said one day he was at a wedding. One of his friends was getting married, and he was sitting in the audience at the wedding. And he just happened to be sitting next to a young man who had just finished medical school. And he said by talking to that young man, it reignited the fire and the dream and the passion that he once had himself. And he said he decided at age 51 to enroll in medical school. And he did it. He enrolled in medical school, and he said, he says, this is a quote from him. He says, "I'm loving it. Even the 100-hour work weeks and the graveyard shifts." He said, "I feel like I died and was born again." Well, 4 years later, he finished medical school at age 55. He went on to enter to another medical college in New York and do his residency, but he was in his late 50s when he became a full-fledged doctor. But folks, he made it. He made it into his life's purpose. He made it into his calling. So don't think just because you're halfway through life that it's too late. No, you might need to get started right away. You might need to go back to school. Don't give up. It's not too late for you to get into your life's calling and your purpose. So ask yourself those questions. What makes you come alive? What do you enjoy? And I want to share this, that it does take exploration. A lot of times you have to try a lot of different things to find out what you do like. You may not know what you like until you try some things, and a lot of times by trying different things, you'll certainly find out what you don't like. And when you begin the process of elimination, knowing exactly what you don't like, and then you'll start running into some things you do like, you'll be able to begin to scope out and sculpt out, now this is my life's journey. I'm beginning to see clearly now how I'm made, how I am designed. And sometimes when you're trying and exploring different things, different possibilities, sometimes your purpose will come as a combination of things. I read about a gentleman. He said that his background was engineering. And he said he really did that for his father because his father was an engineer. But he said that just wasn't fulfilling him. And he said he had always had a fascination with kitchens. And he said he would just love to be in the kitchen. And he said he finally got the opportunity to try to work as a chef. And he said he didn't like being a chef. That wasn't it. He didn't like it. He didn't like, trying to manage and do all the things that's required of a chef. He said, so that wasn't it. But he said when he stepped back and looked at everything, he said, wait a minute. He said, while I'm in the kitchen, I can see all of the machinery. I see all the operation. My engineering mind lets me know how everything should be flowing and processing. So he decided to become a commercial kitchen engineer. So it still had him in the kitchen. He was still an engineer, but now he was completely satisfied and exhilarated with his purpose and calling in life. So he found a combination. So a lot of times when you may have to try a lot of different things, you may see combinations, and you may have to fit something with something else, and then it becomes a perfect fit for you. So don't be afraid to explore possibilities and try different things to find out what you like and find out different combinations if they may be possible. Be willing to go back to school if that's necessary, like the man he went back to medical school. So be willing to go back to school and to get the necessary degrees and the necessary training and education to do whatever it takes for you to fulfill your life dream, your life purpose, and for you to be in your calling. Peter Buffett said this. He said, life vocations are mysterious, and people seldom move toward them in a straight line or without doubts, false starts, crises, or blunders. So you may not go straight to your purpose. You may have to zigzag, and you may have to zig over here and zag over there, but you may eventually end up in where you're supposed to be. So don't get frustrated if you don't get it all of a sudden right at the beginning, because most people don't go straight there. You got to try different things and go through different experiences. Well, here's something else that you can do, and that's to ask others. Ask others. Ask others. A lot of times, what we are really good at, sometimes we can't even see it ourselves because it's so close to us. Ask those around you. Sometimes we don't even realize the greatness on the inside of us because it's us. But other people can see it. Other people know exactly what you should be doing. So you got to inventory those around you. Ask others. Ask your current boss. He'll let you know. I remember hearing Joel Osteen. He said he never imagined himself up speaking. He said he fought it for years. His dad tried to get him to speak. He never would do it. He said he was never comfortable. He said his wife always told him, she said, one day you'll be up there leading this church. And he said for years his wife told him that. She said she saw it in him. He didn't see it. He didn't know he had it in him. And so sometimes you got to ask others because we don't know what's in us all the time. So you got to ask other people. Here's another key. You got to look at what you do naturally, what you do on a small level. Look at what you do naturally. Now, one thing Joel said he always was an encourager. He always encouraged people, whether he was playing basketball, no matter where he was always an encourager. So on a small, everyday, natural level, that's what he did. Now he's encouraging the world. See, God took something he did on a small level, naturally speaking, and used it in his life purpose. What is it you do naturally? What is it you do naturally? Some people come out of the womb talking. See, that's natural to you. And so your life purpose will be tied to talking because that comes so natural. God never gives gifts not to be used. Nobody can use your gift but you. And so you got to look at what do you do naturally? What do you do on an everyday basis that comes natural to you? Look at, and I say I'm going to run out of time, and we may have to continue this next week because this is good. Isn't this good? This is good. I'm enjoying it myself. Look at King David. Before he was King David, look at what he did naturally. Look at what he did every day. He protected sheep. He fed sheep. He watched over sheep. He cared for sheep. He killed a lion. He killed a bear. He was a warrior. He was courageous naturally every day. He was a protector. He was a leader over sheep. No wonder God called him to be king of Israel. What was he doing naturally? What was he doing every day? That will give you an inclination of your life's purpose and calling. I want you to go to airjesus.com. You can listen to this message number 7485, Living with Purpose, Part 6, How to Know Your Purpose. And you can listen to this in its entirety, absolutely free of charge. You can also email it to a friend, absolutely free of charge. Thank you so much for joining us today at Brothers of the Word, because, brother, you need the Word.
Hallelujah. Brothers of the Word, where the voice of God is heard. Brothers of the Word, there's a word from God for everyone. Brothers of the Word, because, brother, you need the Word. Brothers of the Word. Brothers of the Word.